What the entire fuck is micosis? Okay. So, micosis is a term coined by TikTok to describe the phenomenon of being obsessed with Michael Jackson after watching the Michael Jackson movie. And the reason why it's called micosis is because it's Michael's name and the word psychosis. People feel like they're literally going insane by how obsessed we all have been collectively obsessing over this man. Some of us haven't thought about him in years, and some of us have been lifelong fans. I fall in the latter. I wouldn't say that I wasn't a fan of Michael, but it's not like I disliked him, but I wouldn't consider myself a Michael Jackson fan before watching the movie. I went to go see the movie because I thought it was cute and fun. I thought that it was a really cool idea to see a biopic done portrayed by his nephew because, at least they're keeping in the family. There's millions of Michael Jackson impersonators around the world, but to see somebody in his family play this role and do it justice, it just felt so like I don't know, like it just felt like good to go see it. After watching the movie, first of all, I saw this movie 4 times, yo. I saw it the first time with my partner and the other 3 times alone. And I was gonna go see it again for the fifth time this week, but it's no longer in theaters near me. It is still playing in like the suburbs, but it's like the far off, possibly sundown town type suburbs. I'm really not trying to go to by myself, especially as somebody that doesn't drive. So I'm glad I got to see the movie when I did in theater because it's definitely a type of movie that requires a theater experience. I only go to see the movie maybe once or twice a year. I just feel like most stuff in theaters isn't worth the whole theater experience. Either I can see it when it streams or I'm just not interested in watching it at all. So watching this movie was really fun and really great. If you guys want to see like my first impressions watching the movie and my thoughts and stuff, watch the video prior to this one. And like you'll see, like I already did one. Like after the first time I watched it, I took you guys with me to go see it for the second time, and then I came with my thoughts about, what I took from the movie and what I took from Michael Jackson as a person. I just learned so much about Michael Jackson since this movie came out that I just never thought to even research. And I feel like the reason why I don't know, I can't even describe the reason why I became obsessed with this man. It's like I forgot how impressive he really was because when he died, I was a kid, so I wasn't really thinking about him in certain ways, and I really wasn't, thinking about the industry, the media, and all that was done to him because I was distracted with my own life and the various things that I'm going through in my own personal journey. So I wasn't really thinking about Michael Jackson, the Jackson family, or anything. But I watched the movie and I was like, this person is actually really impressive. Like I never cease to be amazed by him the more I learn about him. And the more I learn about how much we have in common, I'm like, and it's not like I looked up a fact about him and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do that too. Like, no, these are things I genuinely have been doing for years. So I saw like a lot of the letters that he wrote and he only writes in cursive and then some letters he writes uppercase and some he writes lowercase. And I'm like, I have only been writing in cursive since I was like 20 years old. I'm not even kidding. Um, when I was in college, like over a decade ago, one of the classes I took, I'm not sure if it was English or history, it was one of those classes, maybe like social studies. We were like complaining about the teacher erasing the board too fast and not having enough time to collectively write notes. And he was like, you know what, kids, if you guys just learn how to write in cursive, you'll be able to write faster, retain information faster. You won't have to take so long taking notes in the first place. You'll learn how to spell better and like your brain will function better if you just learn how to write in cursive. I know a lot of you guys haven't learned cursive, haven't written in cursive since like the second grade, but you need to relearn how to write in cursive as an adult because it's actually really useful. And it's also going to help you understand like historical documents and stuff a lot better too. So I was like, okay, cool. Like the rest of the class was like, yeah, whatever. I'm not learning cursive. I don't need that. Whatever, whatever. And kept complaining about taking notes in class. But me, I went to Barnes and Noble. I literally bought like a feather quill pen, ink, and like Barnes and Noble. I'm not sure if they still sell them, but they used to sell notebooks, and they used to sell different style of notebooks, and they had like the type of paper that was like the really thick vintage like recycled type paper with no lines on it. Like literally started writing like I existed over 100 years ago. I figured that if I could learn how to write in cursive with ink and work through all the ink blotches and like how to hold the pen better the hard way first, and then learning how to write in cursive, like with a pen or pencil or anything, would be a breeze. Like if I learn how to do this the hard way first, then everything else will be a breeze. So that's how I relearn how to write in cursive. I actually don't write in print unless I'm signing government documents or I'm working in some type of office type situation where I need to fill some paperwork out or whatever. But like on my own, I'm not. If you told me I'm gonna pay you $1 million for you to write a paragraph in print, no cursive, I might be broke for the rest of my life. Like I would not be able to do it. Like even when I try and write in print, there's always a letter or so that I end up just naturally writing in cursive. Like that is my default writing language. So when I saw his letters and he did that, I was like, oh my gosh, twin, I do the exact same thing. So I just found that we had a lot in common, even though I wasn't even looking to have that in common with him. Like, you know how you see somebody that's your favorite celebrity and you're like, oh, they do this. Well, I'm going to start doing this and now we can do it together and we can have it in common. Like, no, I already was doing that for over a decade before I found this information out. Because, like, the media back then towards Michael Jackson was very negative, and we didn't really have social media the way that we do now. And we didn't have think pieces. We didn't have people, like, becoming their own media sources. So a lot of that information was greatly suppressed. So after watching the Michael Jackson movie, I rewatched American Dream. I'm not sure if I've ever seen Moonwalker before, but I've definitely seen some of those music videos, like Smooth Criminal, that was in there. I watched Moonwalker. I rewatched a lot of his old music videos, and I'm noticing a lot of things that I did not notice before. I am like so deep in the Michael Jackson rabbit hole. I'm like watching Jackson 5 performances way back from like when he was a kid. I'm like, oh, you guys are like actually a good band. And it's not like I thought they were a bad band, but I just had this kind of notion that people like the Jacksons because there wasn't many options and they were just like a cute group of kids, singing and dancing together and they're all siblings and it's like cute to see. But like I'm watching it, like the way that they're able to synchronize their movements, the way that Michael was able to like smoothly do the robot across stage, like he was just gliding with it and it all just looked good. His voice sounded good his whole life. He looked good his whole life. The fact that he only lived to 50, but he worked since he was 5 years old. Like he worked 45 out of those 50 years. Like he did not get to have a life, let alone like he didn't get to have a childhood. He didn't have like the regular developmental stages. So yeah, like it's just really sad. Of course, I wish that he were still alive even with the biopic coming out. Like, I wish he was alive to see his nephew. I wish he was alive to see his kids grow up. I wish that he was alive to see, what the current music scene has to offer. I wish he was able to transition into making films. I feel like we really missed out on a lot of great media with the loss of Michael Jackson, not just from like what he could have created, but he like set the standard. I didn't know that he broke so many different records. I didn't know that he was called the King of Pop because of how Billie Jean broke the internet before the internet was really a thing. I didn't know that there were people in like deserts and remote villages that knew who he was. Like I didn't know he was that famous. Like I don't think that I even had the ability to process how famous he was, even though he was famous around the time that I was alive. Just because I was a kid and I just wasn't really thinking about it, I just thought, okay, like this is normal. Like it was normal for people to be that famous. It was normal for people to actually be talented back then and everything. And it just made me just really reflect on media, not just like how the media treated him, but just like TV, movies, music, just entertainment as a whole and how it's really gone downhill since he has been gone. Like I'm sorry, but like that's just how I feel. And it's like no hate to like any other musician or entertainer or anything. But I just feel like because he's no longer around to set the standards don't exist anymore. They just let any old body be famous now. It's not even about like actually being talented. And it's not like I feel like I don't and it's not like I feel like the people who are famous aren't talented. I feel like they're not actually trying to be as talented as Michael or Whitney Houston or Mariah Carey was. Like we don't see voices like that anymore. We don't we don't experience talent like that. That's like mind blowing. Like, oh my gosh, how are you even human type talent anymore? So not only have I been like re-listening to a lot of Michael Jackson songs, I've been learning a lot of songs that I just did not know exist. I'm sorry, but like if it wasn't on the radio, if it wasn't like a music video, if nobody was playing it in their car, if it wasn't playing in a retail store or anything like that, I really had no idea that it existed. And I never would have thought in a million years to go back and watch his old concert videos, his old interviews, his home videos, or anything like that. Like I never would have thought to do all that if I did not see this movie. I feel like this movie really opened my eyes to a lot going on, not only with him, but just like society as a whole. Like it's just so deep. I'm gonna share a series of different TikToks in this video, and then we're gonna talk about it. I've saved a lot of micosis related videos, and I just really wanted to kind of discuss some of the points that other creators have made and go from there.
I think I really have bad micosis. Girl, when I have kids, first of all, my son's name gonna be Michael. Middle name Jackson. The first song my son hears when he comes out that room will be Human Nature and Billie Jean. The first lullaby I will ever sing to my son is Beat It. The first ever TV show my son will ever watch will be a Michael Jackson music video, and it will be Remember the Time.
Okay, so as for the first girl, when she said that when she has kids, they're all going to be named Michael Jackson or Michael Jackson theme, Michael Jackson adjacent, honestly, relatable. However, I will not be having kids. I am team F those kids. I won't be doing it. I have 2 dogs, and they already have names. It has nothing to do with Michael Jackson. No hate to him, but I won't be having kids. So, but I do relate to that feeling, though. If I wanted kids, people will be sick of me because my kids, every single last one of them will be named Michael Jackson, Shimon, Billie Jean, Susie, something related to that man. I might even name a child he just because like why not, like who is gonna stop me? But yeah, luckily for you guys, I won't be having kids, so yeah. The second girl that I shared is so real for that. I've been listening and watching Michael Jackson every single day since I've seen the Michael movie. I rewatched An American Dream. I watched Moonwalker. I watched like his old concert videos. They're like 3 hours long on YouTube. I really like the ones where he's in Wembley, like singing Human Nature and stuff. I feel like the Human Nature is like one of the few songs in the world that's actually better live than recorded. Usually the live version of a song isn't as good as the recorded version of the song because the audio and everything is tricky. But I genuinely feel like the live version of Human Nature is better than the recorded version. There's so many Michael Jackson songs I just didn't know existed. There's so many videos I didn't know existed. There's so many documentaries about him that I didn't know existed. There's so many books about him that I did not know existed, or just like people briefly mentioning him. There's so many different interviews. Like there's just so much to learn about him. So I definitely relate to that. Like, oh my gosh.
You want to talk about highly favored? Let's talk about Michael Jackson. Do you know how crazy it is to get the last laugh 20 years after you pass? You have to think that for so many years, the media was trying to spin the public's perception of Michael Jackson so much so to the point that even when he died, I feel like he probably felt that a lot of people didn't really care for him. Of course, there's always diehard fans, but like public perception, like your basic public perception, a lot of people, even celebrities and stuff, would openly mock Michael Jackson. And to think that when this man passed away, that was how he felt. And now 20 years later, there are all of these people now who are like becoming diehard fans in real time. And his legacy is fully being like disclosed, and people are really seeing the truth for what it was, and the fact that really he wasn't, what people would see as weird. There was a lot of explanation for it. There was a reason that, he was this kind of Peter Pan character. I mean, there's very, very few, if any, that could ever relate to the level of fame and the level of hard work that he put in. The way that we now empathize with like Britney Spears and Justin Bieber and the people who, gave essentially their childhoods, Michael Jackson was that times 10. We have these more open discussions now, but it's crazy to see that like 20 years later, he's finally kind of getting he's really getting his redemption arc that he deserves so much. But I truly believe when you're the type of person who brings light into the world, I feel the same way about Princess Diana. Like, I feel like when she passed away, there were more questions than answers. And I feel like over the last 20 years, more people have really kind of figured out what really happened to her. And, she did that final interview that was kind of in secret and stuff. And I feel like the truth always comes out. Whitney Houston is another one I feel strongly about like that. Like, I feel like the public really tried to spin their perception of Whitney kind of too towards the end and be like, oh, she's nothing but, she just uses drugs and she's whatever. And I really feel like when you are truly like one of God's chosen ones, like when you are here on this earth, like really just trying to do good, no matter what, the truth will eventually come out. And I really love to see that movie, Michael, because now not only do people, really view him differently, and I feel like they really did him justice with that movie. I also think it's crazy because now they're saying that like his music is being streamed now more than ever. So it's just crazy to think that he thought that he even saw his biggest success in his life, and even like after he's been gone for how many years, we're still talking about him. And I feel like that is truly the legacy he deserved.
I'm not interrupting something, am I? I hope not, because I want to show you day 44 of the MJ experiment. So I woke up with Aunt Flo being in town, and because I'm on my natural fiber journey, I looked at the ingredients of what's inside my normal method of disposal, and the ingredients weren't giving at all. So I had to take care of that immediately before getting my morning sequence started. But if you're new here, hello and welcome. I'm doing an experiment for 90 days where I implement Michael Jackson's manifestation practices to see where it gets me. I also do a daily contest where if you can guess which Michael Jackson song I'm dancing to in the morning, I cash up you $5. It's supposed to be fun and lighthearted. It's very low stakes and shit. You can get a free coffee with it or something. But at the very least, you could be following me if you're gonna take my little $5. I feel like the songs have been easy to guess lately, so I'm not gonna be giving you a hint today either. But I've said it before and I'll say it again. Dancing in the morning starts me off on the right foot every single day. Now, it's not for everyone, especially if you don't have your sacral center defined in your human design chart, but I'm a generator, so I do, which means it works for me. I think one of the most important things I've learned about manifestation thus far is that you have to do things that are catered to your needs and setting the tone by doing whatever makes you feel most in your body. I was inspired by Michael for sure to take my manifestations more seriously, but I'm not copying his methods to a T. We're two different people. Side note, how lucky am I that I have a grandmother who loves Michael Jackson and has these movies at her house? I absolutely love physical media. And of course, I have to throw one on for the one time. This movie is a show he did for the Dangerous Tour in Romania, and I'm just completely enthralled by this man. Like, he never ceases to amaze me. But while I was over my grandma's house, I was asking how it was growing up with Michael Jackson because she's 2 years older than him. So naturally, she was able to evolve and grow up with him in a sense. And she shared a lot with me, both pop culture things, but also personal experiences too, which I'm so grateful for. And after the movie, I head home, and I had a really hard conversation with myself about ways I was still keeping myself small and my limiting beliefs. They think it's worldly, they think it's against God, and I couldn't disagree less. But we can expand on that in another video. When I got home, I was setting the scene for my ritual, burning some sage by my pillows where I rest my head at night, then around my head and around my body in general, because I'm trying to neutralize the space and really just clear out any lingering energy so I can start from a clean slate. I was also trying to keep my sacral center activated and engaged, so of course I was dancing around too. It's called multitasking. And with these types of things, intention is about 90% of the work. So that's what I'm focused on more than anything. I did some meditation to get in the right headspace, and then I wrote my release paper. After that was completed, I read it out loud. And this part is crucial. Then I did the same for things I'm ready to receive and call into my life. And I read that out loud too. Being that the moon is in Gemini and Gemini is Mercury ruled and Mercury rules thoughts and communications, that's why speaking matters in this instance. Then I went outside and buried my release paper in the dirt, pouring my gift from Aunt Flo into the ground as an offering. Then I went back inside to make a jar for myself, and I put the paper of what I'm trying to receive and call in a jar full of honey with rosemary, cloves, a bay leaf, cinnamon. And here's another exhibit of why I don't believe in coincidences. Look what I found on the ground. That's going in the jar too. So once all of that was done, I sealed it with orange wax because orange means abundance, and then I got started on my night sequence. Now I'm fully aware that I might have lost some of y'all with the whole ritual thing, which is totally fine because who and what I'm meant for won't pass me up. But tomorrow is day 45, which means we're officially halfway through.
Spend the day with me as an artist. First, I start with this giant jar of water, and then I start with a protein drink because I've been having issues with food. And then I read my affirmations that are on my mirror, and then I pack my printer up because the ink pad died, and it is full of ink. I literally just spent $70 on ink, only just have to send this back. Luckily, I have a warranty. And then I decided to lay on the floor dramatically for about 20 minutes and listen to my affirmations playlist with my sheet mask on to relax for a little bit. And this is a song that I left off on. Enjoy.
When Gen Z was much younger in the early 2000s, Michael Jackson was presented to us by the media as some sort of scary and weird and bizarre character that we shouldn't idolize. A person that the collective should just ignore and forget about. And then that narrative they were feeding us all these years fell apart after the release of the Michael movie. We realized that Michael Jackson wasn't strange. He was just misunderstood. We discovered that the media lied to us our entire lives.
Someone said we're all collectively in micosis, and I think that's so funny and cute and true because one, I've always been a Michael Jackson fan. Like, Michael Jackson is in a weekly rotation regardless of the movie or not, but like especially since the movie came out, I have been listening to him every single day. I like Google him 2-3 times a day, just like random stuff that will be on my mind, and yeah, I love it over here.
So some of you feel that Michael may have been the incarnation of Archangel Michael. Now, what I'm picking up is that he was very much more akin to a modern day Christ-like figure. Now, Christ...
No hate to this creator. However, I am a little bit skeptical of the guiding light lady who says that she has conversations with Michael Jackson every day. And that's purely based on my own spiritual encounters and the conversations that I've had with other people who are intuitive, who are mediums, who are psychics in, many different ways. I personally have not had this type of a spiritual experience where I can channel a spirit every single day. Like, you're lucky if you're able to channel them once, maybe 2 or 3 times. But, anything other than that, they're kind of busy in the spiritual world, especially someone like Michael Jackson, who has billions of fans from when he was alive and billions of new ones now. Like, he is busy. So based on my own spiritual encounters with his spirits, I am skeptical of people who say they talk to him every single day. And that's just me. That's how I feel. I'm skeptical of people who say they talk to Michael Jackson every day. I'm fully aware that psychics exist, mediums exist, intuitive people exist. I am fully aware that spirits have the ability to be multidimensional, meaning they could be in multiple places at once. They're no longer limited to their human form. So it's not like, okay, I'm sitting right here in my room. There's no way I could be in another country at the same time. Like, no, a spirit can be everywhere all at once. And multiple people are capable of channeling that spirit and having their own connections and interactions with it. I personally, in my experience, it's super hard to channel spirits that are not your ancestors multiple times. Like, you're lucky if you're able to get a connection in once, let alone every single day. It's usually a one and done type situation. Like, you may be able to contact them like once, and then maybe in a couple of months or in a couple of years, but it's never just every single day. Like, maybe her first encounter was real, and then everything after that just kind of, I don't know, kind of got lost a little bit. That is my personal analysis on the guiding light lady. That's just me. I've seen other people who are psychic mediums talk about Michael Jackson since this movie came out, and at least 5 other people who probably don't even know each other have said that Michael Jackson's spirit cannot be like his fan spirit guides, because he's busy being a spirit guide to his family, his kids, his nieces, his nephews, his cousins, like all the children he left behind. So when people say that Michael Jackson is their personal spirit guide and they're not related to him, I'm just kind of looking at them sideways. I'm just looking sideways. I'm not saying that it can't happen or that it's not real. I'm just saying that I'm looking at you just a little bit sideways. The people who say that they agree with Michael Jackson more than they've ever grieved anybody in their entire life, including people that they know and love, it gets to a point. Like, I love Michael Jackson. I'm a fan of him. And I relate to a lot of things going on with his personality and everything. But when it comes to grieving people that I know in real life, I'm not placing him as a higher priority than that. Like, that's a little bit weird to me. I'm someone whose parents are deceased, and I'm going to say that I'm not grieving Michael Jackson harder than I am my own parents. I feel like that's disrespectful to the people that you know and love, especially when it comes to your family members. And I'm reminded of how deep grief can be, because I'm literally going to be going to a funeral tomorrow, and I just have so many different feelings about the loss of this person. I can't imagine placing Michael Jackson or any other celebrity above them. I just feel like that's a little disrespectful and weird. I don't know. I also recently learned that apparently once his death was announced to the world, there was an alarming high number of Control-Alt-Delete rates. You know, people taking themselves out because they just couldn't handle the news. Because for a lot of people, Michael Jackson was the light of their lives. He was the center of their lives. He was their sole reason for living. And I'm like, you know what? I'm a fan, but I don't think that I'm enough of a fan to want to take my life because he is no longer here. I feel like that's very odd. I feel sad for those people, and I hope that they find peace. But it gets to a point. It gets to a point. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, it gets, like, I feel sad for those people and I have empathy for them, but it gets to a point. Like, I understand why his kids would have that problem because they're his kids, and losing a parent is very hard regardless of if they're a celebrity or not, especially when you're a kid, especially when that person was unalived against their will. You know, is one thing if someone is terminally ill, they're in hospice care, you know that they don't have a lot of time left and you're trying to make the best out of it. But when, you know, someone that you know and love is seemingly doing well and all of a sudden they're just not here anymore, it's a lot of feelings that come with that. And my heart goes out to the family that is actually grieving him, because they're the ones who grew up with him, who know and love him in real life. They're the ones that knew him before he was famous and, you know, lived with him and like truly got to know him in a way that we will never see. My heart goes out to them and their empathy. But to say that you're grieving the loss of Michael Jackson harder than you are anybody you know is just, it's a little bit weird to me. House real big, car real big, D real big, everything real big, everything big, everything big, everything big. Literally just Michael hitting the notes for human nature and harmonizing. Same sis, same. If this town is just an apple, then let me take a bite. And then hitting the notes for human nature. So, yeah, that's the song that's in the background. Human nature, fun. So I couldn't put this video in here, but it was basically this guy saying that he feels like Michael Jackson brought him closer to God and enhanced his spiritual experience. Now, I am not Christian. I don't relate to that feeling, but I do feel like Michael Jackson is helping a lot of people out spiritually. So if you're Christian and you feel closer to him, then you are going to feel like a similar feeling. If you're spiritual, you're going to feel that. If you practice any other religion, you're also going to feel that too. So I definitely felt that, and I definitely relate to that type of feeling. I love all of these Michael Jackson edits. I love the cutesy ones. I love the ones where he's a kid. I love the ones when he's a teenager. I love the ones when he's in his 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. All of them. They're so cute on so many different levels. Obviously, the ones when he's like 20 and younger, I'm like, oh, what a cute kid. He was so adorable. But the ones of him like 25 and up, fair game to say he was fine as hell in all of them. I've been loving all the Michael Jackson edits. I just cycled through like, oh, so cute. OMG, he was adorable. Oh my gosh, he was so pretty. Oh my gosh, he was so fine. Oh my gosh, he's no longer here and I'm super sad about it. Like, it's just been giving me whiplash, these feelings. So Yeah.
Can't stop thinking about Michael Jackson. I literally need to bring him up in every single conversation lately. I was just like, what the fuck is going on? I just watch videos of him all the time, listening to his music all the time. So I tried to approach my reignited love for Michael Jackson the way that I approach my EFT tapping. By basically just validating that it's there and stop trying to question what's going on and why it keeps happening. So I closed my eyes and I asked this part of me, hey, Michael Jackson obsessed part of me, is there anything you're trying to tell me? Because you're not releasing me from these thoughts. So maybe you're trying to communicate something to me and I'm just not getting it. And it dawned on me that the last time that I was this obsessed with Michael Jackson was when he passed away. I was deep in my micosis at the time. You know, I learned all the dances. I had a leather jacket, all the things. I was actually 14 when he passed away. And I auditioned for a dance company that year. And at the end of the audition, they were like, oh, if you have any extra skills that you want to show our panel of judges or whatever, you can do that now. And so I did the Thriller dance, which like looking back is just like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that, but whatever. I did that. And then the following 3 years, I was in this dance company and I felt so alive. I was dancing 2.5 hours twice a week, sometimes 3-4 times a week. I was with this great community of friends and my closest friends to this day are from that dance company. And then I realized, oh shit, like I haven't been dancing that much since I left that company. I danced a little bit here and there, took classes, and it slowly sort of fizzled away. Oh shit, this Michael Jackson obsession. It's not just Michael Jackson. Part of it is because, you know, he's Michael Jackson. But part of it is that this part of me is saying, remember the last time you felt like this about Michael Jackson? It kickstarted this part of your life where you were really, really happy. And it kickstarted your love for dance. And you haven't been doing that. And that part of me that I was asking was like, it was basically like, I'm gonna make sure that you continue to be obsessed with Michael Jackson until you get your ass back in a dance studio because that's where you belong. This part of me that had this obsessive feeling, I not only validated it, I went to a dance class and I posted a video of me dancing and it actually got me like 1,000 followers on Instagram, which I was like, wow, like that's also something that's like maybe Michael Jackson is pointing me towards a path, sharing more movement and that being a gift to the world. So if you are deep in micosis, maybe try asking that part of you if it has something to tell you. What is it worried will happen if you let go of this Michael Jackson obsession a little bit? For me, it was worried that I'd continue to not be dancing. It's an invitation for you to explore, especially if the thoughts just feel so like they have like such a chokehold on you and you want a little bit of relief. This would be a good exercise for you.
Okay, so my wireless mic was having technical difficulties, so I'm sitting like super close to my phone. I have my plug-in wired one. So I do want to say that when it comes to spiritual experiences, it's not that I'm skeptical because I don't believe in spiritual encounters. I am a spiritual person and I've had a lot of my own experiences, and I don't discuss them on the internet out of respect for the spirits that I interact with and, you know, just wanting to keep things personal and whatnot. Not everything is meant to be shared on the internet. Not everything is meant for other people's eyes. The messages that my ancestors have given me, the advice and the guidance that my spirit guides have told me and showed me, that is for me. If they wanted everybody else to know, then they would have told everybody else. That's kind of like how I've approached, you know, spirituality and everything. So I'm always just a little bit skeptical when I see people talking about spirituality on the internet because the internet is filled with grifters. Anybody can get on the internet and say anything. And as long as they are compelling, as long as they are attractive, as long as they are engaging, people will just eat it up and not even think to question it. Now, I'm not going to say whether or not these people are lying or exaggerating their experiences or not. That's not my place to say. I do want to encourage you to use your own discernment whenever you see people getting on the internet talking about spirituality. And I do want to remind you guys that your spirituality is something that is inherent to you. It does not belong to anybody else. It's not in a Bible. It's not in a church. It's not in a pastor. It's not in your favorite spiritual influencer. It's not in a TikTok tarot reader. It's not in a YouTube psychic. It is something that you have within yourself. So when you see videos like this on the internet, I do encourage you guys to have your own discernment, especially if you have the ability to have your own spiritual encounters when it comes to spirits and everything. I also recommend that you guys just do a little bit of research before you try to channel spirits. If you don't know how to protect yourself, if you don't have a relationship with your spirit guides, if you don't even know what a spirit guide is, don't go around channeling spirits, because you may encounter trickster spirits, trickster energies, people or spirits pretending to be one thing and they're not. You may encounter, just dark energy and stuff. So, like use your discernment. You use your discernment when it comes to these things. I don't have a spiritual social media where I talk about my spiritual encounters and such, because I don't do readings in spiritual services for other people, and I'm not trying to sell you a reading. I'm not trying to sell you an ebook. I'm not trying to sell you like anything in regards to spirituality. It's not that I don't think that spiritual people should get paid for their work, because I myself have paid for spiritual work done. I just don't think it should be capitalized in the way that it is. So I am going to share a couple of videos of people claiming to have spiritual encounters with Michael Jackson, and I just want you guys to use your discernment on whether or not you believe it.
Part 2 of me connecting to Michael Jackson's soul. This time around, I'm gonna be speaking about his passing and the things that he wanted to mention. One thing that surprised me when he started to say about his passing was that I could feel a little bit of like a pain in his chest. And obviously his death was not a heart attack. He definitely wanted to outline that there was something happening in the chest area, and that also impacted his singing abilities, as if he was struggling with like breathing properly, but also things were stuck in here. It's like there is no much power coming from here to here. This also connected to what he showed me later, is that he felt like his energy was shrinking. He actually said himself that I knew this was gonna happen and I made peace with this. His soul knew that, he is gonna die quite young, but his human avatar was really like shrinking, and he felt it on like a physical level. The way he portrayed this to me is that he was becoming smaller and smaller. He also mentioned, which was very important, is that he felt like a Muppet. And that was throughout his whole life, but very close to his passing, he felt like he couldn't trust anyone around. But then also, when he was sending at the audience, those people he was looking at, he almost felt like they were laughing at him, and like he felt like he was a Muppet or like an animal in the zoo. And I saw his like light dimming and himself shrinking. Perhaps his heart energy, which was always so radiant, and it started to shrink. But one thing which was beautiful is that he said that here I know everything, which is obviously a great indication of that he went through his life review a long time ago and he understood all his lessons that were here for him on earth. He said that the moment of his death was quite pleasant. Nevertheless, when he crossed over, the transition was not so smooth because he was still connected to his childhood. The childhood aspect was something that he couldn't completely forget, and he felt as if he could not forgive the fact that he didn't have a childhood. Very often when spirits have, let's say, not such a smooth transition to the other side, or like they are experiencing some difficulties, is because they are still connected to some things in their life here on earth. For him, it was his childhood. He couldn't forgive himself and let the spirit go because he said that he felt it was unfair that he didn't have it, and he really wanted to stay here to keep experiencing it. Although he was an adult, he really wanted to recreate that childhood in his adult life. He couldn't let it go, which obviously made the passing a little bit more tricky. He also told me that there is something with his costume from Bad that's happening right now that he doesn't necessarily appreciate. I've got no actually idea what could that be, but if you know, please do let me know in the comments. And let me know how you feel about him and his spirit, and did you ever try to connect to him?
You know what? I just realized that I used to think that Michael Jackson impersonators was so cringe. It's like, yeah, I get you like Michael Jackson, but you need to make it your whole personality. And now I get it. Like, I truly get it. And I'm like, yeah, like that you're so real for that, because it takes guts to admit that you like somebody this much to want to center your whole life around them, and this extent, even to the point where you're making it into a whole career, like a lifelong passion. Michael Jackson is so influential that even his impersonators are able to make full-on careers out of impersonating him. People are going viral on TikTok for doing his dances from videos over 40 years ago. Like, people are going viral just from dancing to Thriller. They're going viral for dancing to Billie Jean, learning the Remember the Time dance, which is a very hard dance to learn, especially if you're doing it well. Trust me, I have tried. I was like, oh, you know, I don't really feel like doing a boring choreo. I'm just gonna learn how to do the dance from Remember the Time. That looks fun. I almost twisted my damn ankle messing around with that dance, and all the ankle turns and the hand turns and everything. You got it, Mike. You got it.